And Paul starts off the podcast by texting. Yay!
I was...
And if you can't hear him, it's because his mic is between his legs right now.
I was gonna get some Eminem going on.
I see.
Mike, I just got a text from you that says F you autocorrect.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I said F you autocorrect? There's a question mark.
Question mark?
Question mark?
So, welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to Threading and Dreading. We are back once again. Sorry for this one getting a little late. This past week was kind of chaotic for a lot of us, but we're going to get this one out as quickly as possible, hopefully. And I'm joined once again by the gentleman to my right.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Yes, you're a gentleman.
You're the only gentleman
No,
here.
it wasn't the gentleman part that I mean, that makes sense. It was the left and right sequence. I'm like, what? I'm to your left. No, you're to my left. Yeah, that makes sense. Hi, everybody. On my right is the girl next door, Kim.
Yay!
There should be an applause sequence after that.
But sadly, no one else can make it this week. Allison is busy.
Snake charmer.
Yeah, probably.
Wait, is she the snake charmer?
No.
Oh,
Yes, she is.
Now, I want to stop you real quick. Are you doing the laugh of like that dog from
Yeah, that old,
like the old cartoon, like that?
that little villain.
Not Snidely Whiplash, but like
I don't know what you're saying.
I forget the
Snively.
Snively. Yeah, but it's like the little dog that just hisses when he laughs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit like Ernie from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
I'm not offended by either. So,
Oh, it was Wacky Races. That's what it was from.
well, that was one of the things he was on.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He was on a show.
Yeah.
All of those characters were on their own shows before that.
Yeah, and then there was a spin-off, Penelope Pit-Stop and all that. Yeah. But yeah, no, I watched that show back. I love that show, Wacky Races. I loved that back in the day.
Yeah, Boomerang was the shit.
It was.
It's all coming down.
I don't have Boomerang. I'm depressed. I should get Boomerang.
I feel like Boomerang now would be so much better because it'd be like, not that it wasn't awesome then, but Boomerang now, all of our shit would just be like Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, man.
Dexter's Lab.
Well, if you turn on...
Samurai Jack.
Yeah, oh my god, okay.
He'd be fucking up somebody's car.
Yeah.
He'd be like driving, and he'd be like, Jack! And he'd just be like, boom, Aku! And they'd be like, who is that Japanese guy?
Dude.
He's not even in a car.
If you turn on Cartoon Network on Friday nights, what they do, like what you said, their Cartoon Fridays, they now have like this cartoon hour with Brack and Zorak. And you can watch those old shows. They have Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Courage, Samurai Jack occasionally. All the old cartoon shows they throw in there every Friday night. And I like to turn that on sometimes. It's actually really fun to watch them.
For some reason, I feel like I heard that they were bringing Powerpuff Girls back.
Well, they did, but it's not the format you think. It was in Japan and Thailand. It's Powerpuff Girls Z. I shit you not.
Zombies?
No.
No, they do Super Saiyan and shit.
Like Super Z. No, it's they've grown
that
up.
kind of Z.
They're now kind of like teenagers, and they still have their superpowers, but now they carry weapons.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't even need a dubbed version of that. I don't watch it.
I don't know if it's still going on. I think they've gotten a couple seasons of it, but supposedly they're loving it over there.
I mean, they love everything. The
Yeah.
Japanese are dumb.
But
Wow.
Thanks, Paul. Way to exile some of my viewers.
Like, really? Like, can you get more offensive than just calling an entire race dumb? Like, you have funny eyes and your skin is you're dumb.
Well, you know,
Fuck you.
Well, now, Paul. At first, you just said a nation. Now you're offending the whole race.
Right.
You're welcome.
You're just spreading it, Paul. I'm going to turn on the analysis to this video later. I'm just going to see the entire eastern side of the planet just tuning out.
I apologize.
Screw that guy.
But I like your animation style.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
You're really good artists, and I've always appreciated your help in math class.
Coming next week,
gosh.
Paul's apology.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
So, what's everybody drinking? Paul has his White Russian that he's already tapped.
Yeah.
We might get you another in a second. Well, Kim and I just exercised, so she's probably not in a drinking mood, even though I am.
You always are.
I'm always in a drinking mood, but she just has a Dr. Pepper, and
Yeah.
I dare Paul to call this one gay.
Oh,
Because
Lord.
no, because here's the thing.
I'm gay.
No, here's the thing. We know the guy who made this. You've met Clark, right? My sister's boyfriend.
Oh yeah, he's hot for a skinny dude.
He brewed this. This is his brew. It's called the Pub Fugly. which is what he calls an ESB, which is extra special bitter. So I have not tried this yet. I'm not entirely sure what is in it. I'm not sure if it's a particular type of brew. It doesn't look like a lager, but I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see what happens. So, bottoms up.
Why would he call Clark gay? Clark seems like a very nice gentleman. I don't know why he would do that. More than that, his sister's dating him. Like, that's really
I know,
rude.
it is.
God.
How dare you?
Such an asshole.
Thanks, Paul. It's not bad. I like it.
I don't like beer.
I know you don't like beer, but
And I know that people
it's
disagree
pretty
with
darn
me,
good.
but
So
to somebody who doesn't like something, all of that something tastes the same. It's like all beers taste
Yeah.
the same to me. Even ciders taste like beer to me. Like
really?
all of it.
Now, when you say ciders, do you mean like Mike's, or not Mike's, but like Red's Apple Ale and all that? Or are you talking like just hard cider?
Hard cider.
Okay.
Yeah, like Steve got this case with these 4 or 5 different types of hard cider, and he had me try one of them, and it all tastes like beer to me, and it all tastes. It's all very generic to my palate because I don't know the difference, and I don't drink it, so it all tastes the same to me.
Well, fair enough. And when I first started drinking beer, I was kind of like that too.
Although that one time we played Kings right here in this area right here,
Yeah.
motioning at the rug, that tasted like beer and water.
Yeah, we don't play that King Cup anymore. Forget that. Because there was a really bad experience. I don't know if we ever told you about that experience we had down in Florida.
I feel like you did, but you can tell
Okay,
it
well,
again
we'll
for
share
the
that
audience.
story because some of you can actually go watch us on my channel. There's the
Some of you can go and watch us vomit.
well, I was gonna say, I don't know. Some people may have already seen it, but on my channel there's the Projectionist Goes to Florida. That's the first one, not the one that Kim and I went on, but the year before that. On the second to the last night of the trip, no, I think it was the last night. Yeah, it was the last night because we were trying to finish up all the food in the place we were staying. We were playing Kings. And so they basically said, we're going to stick anything in the house into the King Cup. If you pull the King, you don't have to just pour your drink in. You put anything in.
Like, are we talking like condiments and shit?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's like middle school cafeteria time.
Yeah. Pretty
Here's
much.
all the shit I didn't eat.
Yeah.
Let's see how gross I can make
Exactly.
my tray look.
Now,
who will
it
eat
didn't
it?
start off like that. That's just
Put
it.
your fries in it.
It didn't start off like that, but it started when May said, oh, well, I'm going to make a rule, where she pulled like a Jack, which was make a rule or something. And she said, I'm going to decide that we can put anything in there. So she grabbed old chili and put it in there, along with milk, and then a couple other things. Like, oh my God.
This is the greatest story ever.
So, of course, everyone else is just putting their own drinks in there. But now you've got, like a wine cooler and a beer and milk and chili and like ketchup and shit in there. You're like, oh my God.
Oh, somebody shit in it?
No one shit.
Ketchup and shit. There was a
God.
distinct comma there.
Sorry. So it gets to the very end, and it comes down to Kemper and I.
10 people, 1
And
cup.
literally, there's 2
God.
cards left. And May, the turn before, had pulled the last make a rule card, and she said, whoever gets the last king, I get to decide who drinks it. I said, well, that's not fucking right.
Hey, yo, a rule's a rule.
So-
and May was a bitch.
I didn't pull the last king. Kemper did. But she said, Kemper doesn't have to drink it alone. Kemper and Mike have to drink it. And I said, fuck this noise. I got so upset. I'm like, I don't want to drink that shit. She said, too bad. It's the rule.
That's the rule, Mike. Did you drink it?
I did. And I instantly ran to the bathroom. It was the most disgusting thing. There are no words to describe what that. I tried to just down it, but it was just awful. It was this chunky, awful mess. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It was vile. And Kemper never did. Kemper refused to drink it. And I don't blame him because it just smelled foul.
Because he was trying to eat May's pussy.
She should have put that in the cup.
Yo, he was slurping it up. He'd be like, it tastes like old chili. I don't think it's supposed to taste like that, dude.
Oh.
I don't really know from experience, but that doesn't sound right.
So if I can make any recommendations to those of you who are still playing Kings, do one or two things. Either take out the King Cup or don't allow people to put other shit in there. Just keep it as booze. So, what's been going on?
Well, the biggest news is that Kim finally left Mike and is dating me.
Oh, yeah, sure, that's it.
There's
That's
there's
it.
that.
Yeah.
Because
That happened.
She came to her senses, and I was like, well, I could do worse.
Oh, wow.
Gee,
Wow.
that makes me feel great.
I switched teams.
Oh, yeah.
Self-esteem.
Yeah. I'm a really good boyfriend. Steve's a lucky guy. He gets home and he's like, how do I look? Well, I mean, I've seen you look worse.
Oh, God.
I mean, it wasn't that weird costume I saw that you wore at Halloween that one year. It was like, what? I'm going to a wedding. And I'm like,
Jeez.
they won't be offended. But you
Well-
definitely aren't going to outdo the bride.
If there's nothing else, we're just going to hop right into the news. That way, like last week, not last week, 2 weeks ago, we bullshitted for about, half an hour. So
These are my favorite fucking thing to listen to at work. The second review, I was busting up at my desk. And the third review,
You don't remember half of it, right?
I didn't remember half of the review, actually. First off, I'm listening to it. I was surprised that I didn't remember any of the trailers because I was already fucking done. I didn't remember parts of the review, which made it funnier. But what I think is even funnier, and I told my mom that she needs to listen to these, is that I'm so consistent in how I react to things. I'll hear you do something in the review, and I'm like, fucking gay. And then the next thing I hear is me going, fucking gay. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm consistent.
Brilliant.
Today I saw, like, a picture of a friend of mine in a suit, and he was like, how do I look? And I went to post on it, and I'll take it off. And it was an old picture, and I already posted that. And I was like, oh. All right. But I told my mom, I was like, you have to listen to these, because I was crying at my desk. I had to, like, and I'm not even I had to shut down, like, I had to lock my computer so I could go and get tissues because I was crying at my desk. And, like, it was really terrible because Thursday I didn't go into work because my great-grandmother's terminal.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, she's 1,000,000 years old. So it was going to happen. People keep asking, like, is she sick? No. Well, why is she dying? Because she's, like, 1,000 years old. Like, she's older than most plants in Delaware. Like, it's her time, and she's ready to go. Like, I mean, it's not necessarily sad that she's going. It's just hard to watch.
Right.
So not to cut you off, but that's actually an old Larry the Cable Guy joke, which I don't like him, but it's pretty funny. It's
Oh, the one that's like she
where-
wrecked her Harley?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, I
oh, he's
fucking
like, oh,
love that
my grandmother passed away. He's like, oh, how'd she die?
No, he's like,
Well,
my grandmother
how'd
died.
she-
She was like 102 years old.
Yeah,
Oh, how'd she die?
How'd she die? She wrecked her bike up at Harley Week. What the fuck do you think? You know?
She wrecked her Harley down in Daytona. She's 1,000,000 years old. So people are like, oh, what's wrong? And I'm like, oh, yeah, my grandmother, this and that. And they're like, oh, well, is she sick? No. Well, why is she dying? Okay.
Yeah, she's got this sickness called age.
Yeah, she's my great-grandmother. She's witnessed 4 generations of her family after hers. Like, it's time for her to go. She's witnessed 7 generations of her family.
Oh my
There aren't a lot of
gosh.
people that can say that. She's ready.
No.
Yeah.
Now, unless she lives another 15 years and my nephew ends up being as disgusting a human being as the rest of us in the family, and gets knocked up at like 16. No, if that happens, I'm going to be astounded. But, so like I get up and I'm crying and they're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, are you okay? What's going on? And then I call out on Thursday and they're like, we saw you crying the other day. I was like, yeah. Yeah. I was
Yeah, that's
really upset. And they're like, but it almost looks like you were laughing too. Like we were really confused. It's a really confusing emotion.
Oh, God.
I'm not yet sure how to display it.
I can see you
Practice.
walking away crying. Snake charmer.
And they were like, what? Yeah, in the turn of the century, she was a snake charmer. That's what they used to call streetwalkers. My grandmother's gonna fucking hear this and be like, Paul Richard! It's not even my middle name. She fucking calls me that when I'm in trouble. That's how I know I'm in trouble, because she forgets my name. And I've been my name since I was 13 years old. She's like, Paul Richard! No, that's not my name! So I don't care. Don't call your grandmother a streetwalker. She was a wonderful lady.
For a streetwalker.
Yeah. My grandmother was like the purest fucking woman in the entire world. Like to the point where like if she painted her toenails, my great grandfather was like, "You're calling attention to your limbs. Go clean that off."
Wow.
Like she didn't wear nail polish.
Oh my gosh.
Like it was ridiculous. She like always wore like skirts like down to her ankles. Like she was a lady.
Lady. not like girls nowadays who just dress like trash, you know.
Off the streets. Yeah, lady. Well, I saw this meme the one day, a couple months back, and it was like, in the 80s what the hookers looked like on TV, and it was like Saved by the Bell, or 90s, 80s. It was like Saved by the Bell, and they're like in the short shorts, and like they're not even that low cut. Like they've got like a low collar line. Mm-hmm. And short sleeves with like ruffles on their shoulders. And like these are the hoes in the 90s. And then it's like the good girls now.
Yeah.
And it's like bikini,
Yeah.
jeans, a jacket that's like hanging off them so you can see their tatas.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, do you see that hooker right there? Oh, that's terrible. Can I get a close up on my titties? I'm the good girl. They need to know I'm the girl next door. See, because my titties are in a bra and theirs are not. And I'm just like, oh my God, like the times have changed so much. Because I don't even look at these girls nowadays and think like, whoa, put something on. I'm like, yo, that's a really cute bikini. And then I'm looking back at those times, I'm like, what a heifer. That bitch was slutty.
You'll find that there's kind of like, rebounds on this stuff, where you had the sexual revolution in the 60s and 70s where it kind of went one way where people started dressing really promiscuously, and then it kind of backlashed in the Reagan era where it went back to being conservative. Now we're hitting that downslip again, but it's slowly starting to come back up. You're seeing performers and artists who aren't really putting their sexuality out there, and bring up names like Taylor Swift or people who aren't, they're selling their music but not their bodies.
Taylor Swift is selling her failed relationships.
True, but she's not dressing like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, or Kesha or anything like that.
Kim, would you consider Britney Spears dressed? Go.
I thought you were going to ask if I considered her relevant, and I was going to say no.
No. I feel like it's the same answer. No.
Is it 2003? Then no, she's not relevant.
No. Mike's like, I've been dating Kim for over 2 years, and I've seen Britney Spears' pussy more than I've seen Kim's. That's saying something.
Oh, damn.
Which isn't to say that Kim holds out. It's to say that Britney Spears is a hoe.
Yes.
Just saying. But now, back to my original insult that I was going to throw. I'm sorry, Kim.
Oh, that's adorable.
I'm planning ahead so that I have really funny things to listen to at work. I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe Kim still talks to me. I was going to say something about I don't remember now.
It's all right. I said 8 minutes ago we were going to get on news, so let's go ahead and get on the news. So I have one thing that it was announced about a week ago, but I figured I'd bring it up anyway. So Channing Tatum has been set to have his directorial debut for Magic Mike 2.
Okay.
Of all the things from Tim debut as a director, they're going to pick this, but a sequel, but I don't know.
The first one wasn't terrible. It wasn't a whole lot of story, but there was a bit, and it was more than just dude who strips. It was him trying to take care
I
of
didn't
this.
see it. Kim saw it. I did not see it.
He tries to bring this kid out of his shell. Kid being this young adult out of his shell, and so he introduces him to this side job, which is to dance and strip or whatever, while he's trying to set up his own thing, making furniture out of trash.
Yeah.
And the only thing I didn't like about the movie was it didn't really end. The credits just started. I'm like, is it over?
Interesting. But
not a terrible
the previous director, which was Steven Soderbergh, he's actually stepping away, but he will be assisting, and he's going to be the director of photography for the film. So he's going to be helping Tatum with this.
So he's going to be the dancer replacement.
Pretty much, yeah. That'll straight up.
They're gonna
now,
switch.
another interesting thing is that Tatum has invited friend and co-star from White House Down, Jamie Foxx, to appear in the film.
Okay.
So
Jamie Foxx has a good body for his age.
Yeah, well, he's expressed interest in appearing in the film, but he has not yet confirmed or denied if he's been casted.
Okay.
So
Well, it doesn't mean he's going to be a stripper.
no, it doesn't. But
He could be any number of
yeah,
He could be the love interest.
characters.
Yeah.
He could be Channing Tatum's new love interest.
yeah.
I was dating this white girl, but now I don't want to do white people or girls, so I'm going to black guy instead.
Nice.
He's a dancer too.
But the next bit of news, which I said we'd talk to,
my
we would
bird.
talk about today, I discussed it with Paul earlier, was that The Flash has been cast, and it's Grant Gustin. I really don't know who this kid is.
Well, all right, so that guy, he played this really douchey gay dude on Glee.
Yeah, I looked him up. He said he was on Glee and a couple other things. He was on the remake of 90210.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
He wasn't a bad actor. I hated his character because he was a tool, but I don't know. He kind of looks the part. But it makes me wonder.
He does.
It makes me wonder because I guess it's obviously not going to be the same universe as the Arrow show, and aren't they putting him in Arrow?
No, it is the same universe as the Arrow show.
It is the same universe as the Arrow show.
In fact, and I have this right here. He's going to be appearing in the coming season, episodes 8, 9, and 20, which is 20 will be the final episode, that's going to serve as a backdoor pilot for the new Flash series.
Okay.
So basically...
So I only have to watch 3 episodes of this season.
Yes.
Okay.
And then from there, you can start watching Flash. Because the first
Flash.
episode of Flash is basically going to be what happened in episode 20 of this season.
It's just going to be an episode of him running.
Pretty much.
The Flash is like watching NASCAR. Like, what's he doing now? He's running. What's he doing now? He's running. What's he doing now? Somebody shot him. What did he do? He ran. Oh, did he hit him? No, he just ran.
There's a little bit of a synopsis here about what's going on. So Alan will initially appear as an assistant police forensic investigator from Central City who visits Arrow's hometown of Starling City. In the comics, it's Star City. Why they changed it to Starling, I really don't know. But to look at a series of robberies... to look at a series of robberies that may have a connection to a tragedy in Alan's own past. DC Entertainment's Jeff Johns, who, an amazing writer, we're exploring a very personal story for Barry. Life as a forensic scientist and the people around him, the tragedies of how he deals with them, being in a very different light than Oliver Queen. And the story will take some of its background from the comics, but also aim at providing something fresh. So, Flash is going to be based in Central City rather than Arrow's Starling City, so that's basically where it's going to cut off. Episode 20, and then it'll become their own separate series.
So after episode 20, he's just going to run home?
Basically. The one thing I wanted to comment on was how CW is marketing these shows, because you had linked me an image earlier in regards to...
just to piss you off.
Well, no, it didn't piss me off. It made me think. It's like CW, along with DC, is really marketing these series strangely. They're basically trying to get tweens into comic books. I'm not talking male tweens. I'm talking young females.
It's not necessarily tweens. It's trying to bring in... Part of it is probably, yes, to try to attract more females in the comics. It's not necessarily tweens, but, sci-fi has a big female fan base because of characters or actors like Jonathan Barrowman from Torchwood or Nathan Fillion from Firefly.
Yeah.
A lot of women have a big thing for David Tennant from Doctor Who. Bringing in a little bit of, or a lot of it, in this case, of sex appeal isn't bad for the market. I know that you might not necessarily agree with the marketing tactics, but we do need, and hey, why not DC? We need to sell out just a little bit so that we can get some money so that we can keep making these things that we like.
Yeah, and my thought on it is that you already...
all the shitty-ass writers you've got on the books right
My only thoughts on it is I don't disagree with what they're doing. The thought is that you're already going to have guys like us watching. The nerds are going to watch no matter what you put on there. They may hate it, but they're still going to watch. The only thing you're trying to do now is say, okay, what other demographic can we get in here? Well, let's appeal to young females. And that's what they're doing with Arrow and now The Flash. Casting this guy is really a target towards young females.
But I don't know that it's only young females. I don't think that their goal is to attract like the Twilight Nation.
True.
I think it's to attract females in general.
Okay.
Hasn't CW, I don't know all of the programs that they show on there, but haven't they all kind of been geared towards more younger?
For the most part, yes. You can make an argument that
proud.
Supernatural isn't, but apart from that, I think you can make an argument for that. Now,
a
station that's now... Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think that it's necessarily younger. Necessarily. Okay. You definitely have, the Vampire Diaries.
Right.
That probably appeals more to the Twilight fans. Supernatural, I don't know. The guys are shirtless a lot, and Dean's really hot, and he's, a huge hoe.
Okay.
So, they probably market that less with sex appeal, because up until the fifth season, up until the end of the fifth season, it had really good writing. Now it's questionable. Steve really likes it, and I watch it just because I want to know what happens. Like I said, we know, and they know, that people like you and I are going to watch these shows.
Exactly.
Now, I don't like Superman, so I didn't watch Smallville.
No, nor did I. But I know nerds who hooked onto that show and loved it.
Right. But in this, I don't hold it against them the way that they're marketing.
Oh, no, again, I'm not saying I hate this. I could easily rage and say, oh, they're just trying to get the young tweens, and I could rage, but...
Which is why I posted it on your wall, because that's what I wanted you to say.
I know, but I don't hate what they're doing. I think it makes sense. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about it, really. I wish they were gearing it more towards our demographic than that demographic, but that's just because I want to be.
They
more
might
like-
have been trying to aim it at my demographic, but that's not my demographic. They should have brought in, like, this is what the Flash looked like before he started running. Like, yo, what's up, fatty? But
Nice.
this was Hal Jordan before he joined the Air Force.
Big old fat kid.
What's up, fatso? No. Don't join the Air Force. I got an ice cream sandwich for you. It's in my big white van.
Oh, nice.
With no windows.
Yeah, with no windows. No. Don't mind the New York license plate. I know we're really far from New York.
Well played.
What? Girl screaming? No, that's a CD. It's Paramore.
Yeah,
Kitty.
that's it.
But of the few episodes I've seen of Arrow, I can't say I've hated it. I haven't loved it, but I haven't hated it. I'll check this out. I want to see what they're going to do with the Flash.
In all honesty, the couple episodes that I saw of Smallville, I didn't despise.
No, I didn't either.
If it was on Netflix, I don't know that I would avoid it. I would probably give it a chance.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people say that they really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of people that didn't like Superman as a character, and they said that it was a really cool, interesting way to tell his coming of age story for 9 fucking years.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel
Was
like
it 9 or 10?
10 years.
I thought it was 10 seasons.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ. Apparently, I had heard that he had in his contract that was like, I'll do this, but no flight and no tights.
Nice.
And then they told him, I heard that they told him in the last season that they were going to kill him at the end of the season
Wow.
if he didn't wear the suit.
Nice.
And he was like, you can't kill Superman. And they're like, we'll kill you.
Jeez.
And he's like, so
Wait,
about
in
that
the
suit.
story or for real?
There won't be a Superman ever again, Thomas.
You will destroy everything we've built.
Everything. With this tiny green rock right here. What? That won't hurt me. Pop! Oh, shit. There's bigger rocks. All right, fuck. I'll put the suit on. Jesus Christ.
But moving on.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
We are moving on, but I was busy at work today.
Okay.
And there was a
Awkward pause.
video interview by Mr. Ben Affleck on Fallon. It's the first time he's spoken about being Batman.
Okay.
And so Fallon...
Oh, you know, I heard about this article. I haven't read it, so okay, this is news. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
fucking, I didn't read anything. It was
Oh, okay.
video.
He said it was a video.
I
Okay,
can't
go
read
on.
things
No.
at
I'm
work. I
interested.
have
Go on.
to I have shit to do. I can't stop and watch videos either. I have to listen to them. Fallon and Affleck are comparing that they both have kids now and this and that. Fallon says, you're Batman, and he's like, yeah, I'm Batman. And he's like, so, what's it like? It's got to be awesome. And he's like, yeah, it's really, really cool. And he's like, they signed me. I'm really excited because it opens all these doors for me. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking have a career now.
Wow.
And he's like, but they told me they were like, look, you might want to stay off the internet for a couple days. And he's like, why? What do you mean? And they were like, well, just as an example. And he said he started to, but then he didn't say the name of whoever it was.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, there have been past Batmans. There have been past actors who played the role. I'm not really sure how to do that because it's one character, multiple actors.
Yeah.
But they weren't the same person at the same time. So I'm not really sure how to word that. But there were multiple actors who played the role.
Yeah.
And there was one in particular that got really terrible response to him being Batman. And
Probably
they did
Michael
a really
Keaton.
good job.
Yeah.
Maybe, but we didn't have the internet then.
Yeah.
But maybe.
That's probably what it was.
But fucking Keaton was my favorite.
Yeah. I love Keaton.
Until Bale, actually. I think that they're about equal on my chart, but for very different reasons.
Yeah.
But he was like... And I was like, oh, no, I'm a big boy. I've been around. I've been in the business.
Yeah.
I'm in the business. I can do that. I'm okay. Thanks. So he's like, I got online, and the first thing I saw when I got on fucking Google was like, oh, Ben Affleck Batman. And he was like, oh, okay. And he clicked on it. And the first thing was just some random person going, no! And he was like, all right, kids, we're not using the internet for a couple days. But that's all they said. I was like, oh, man. And then there's this, it has to be a joke. It has to be. Like, there's no way that DC would do this. I have to think that DC
I know what
do
you're gonna.
this.
I know you're gonna say.
But there have been
I know
pictures
what
of Bieber
Yeah.
saying that he's going to be Robin.
It
can't be.
It's not.
It can't be.
It's been
there's
confirmed.
No feasibility.
It was a troll. He made that image up. It is not happening.
What a little fucktard. Can somebody please kill him and then smack the shit out of Usher? Don't do this shit again. See what you did?
But you Usher made it up.
No. Usher signed the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Usher found the fucker on goddamn YouTube.
There's a funny argument And one of our mutual friends,
This is
Brian.
why. No, I can't even finish that statement. It was terrible. Never mind.
I think that's a first.
We have a.
It was gonna be bad. Like, it was gonna be the worst thing I've ever said ever. I'm going to hell for thinking it.
Wow.
Really terrible. I'm sorry, black people.
Okay. Oh, wow. Kim and I have a mutual friend, Brian Salisbury, down in Austin, and he posted a comment or an article. And he said, "Now listen to me. Just hold off before you rage at me. I'm gonna give you a couple reasons why Bieber being cast as Robin wouldn't be a bad thing." And we're like, "Oh my god! I can't wait to see this."
My manager said. Maybe they'll cast him as Jason Todd. We can watch the Joker beat him to death.
That's exactly what Brian Salisbury said. All he did was link images of Jason Todd dying and the Joker beating the shit out of him.
And he was like, maybe it's the flashback, and that explains how they're supposed to do, because it's supposed to be the Dark Knight Returns. And I was like, oh well, all right. Everybody hated Todd.
If that was the case, and he came in for like a minute and then just got beat to death, I wouldn't mind that.
There was an episode of CSI that fucking
He got
Ben
shot to
linked
death,
me
yeah.
where he got
Oh yes,
blown away.
repeatedly. Yeah.
There are
kept
clips,
shooting
there are
him.
clips of that. Like, you can go on YouTube and find that on repeat for 10 hours just him getting blown away.
That's what he sent me. It was like a 10-minute long clip of him just like getting blown away, and I'm like, what? It took me like 4 times to realize what I was watching. I'm like, Ben, what is? Oh, that's Bieber. How many minutes were left of this? Okay.
And it's
6
glorious.
Glorious, glorious death. Watch, one day he's gonna like die. He's gonna like overdose, or somebody's gonna shoot him in his fucking face, and then he's gonna be a martyr, and we're all gonna go, oh my god. We should have been way worse.
Yeah,
It would have happened sooner. It's gonna be on the news. And Justin Bieber died, and in other news, there are many more important things. A kitten was saved out of a tree today by a man in a leotard.
Very nice. In other news, the sky's blue.
And
but-
here's why. To explain it to you, Bill Nye.
Well, he's
Hello, people. I'm the science guy. I got this. Bow ties are cool. Fuck Matt Smith.
nice. So, moving on. A little bit of news here, because I was excited about this. I don't know about you guys are, but they actually are doing a Mummy reboot. But it initially looked like they're going to go down the same route of what they'd already made with like the Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz series, which would have upset me. Now, while I like that series, I don't want to see another one like that.
I don't like that series. I like Brendan Fraser. I like Brendan Fraser in one thing.
What was it?
Scrubs.
He was in Scrubs?
Yeah, he dies.
Oh, okay.
Scrubs. I thought you said screw ups. I was like,
I don't know
what?
what
I don't know what that is
that
either.
is.
But
He wrote it. He wrote Screw Ups. And then it flopped.
this Mummy reboot has actually gotten a new director. It was originally going to be Len Wiseman, who directed the Underworld series and the most recent remake of Total Recall. But now we've got Andrews Muschietti. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. He was the director of Mama. You remember Mama?
Yeah.
The little girl movie?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
that's what he directed. And
So, is it going to be a horror movie?
yeah, it's going to go back to its root. It's going to be a horror film.
No
that might
more,
actually be pretty
like-
fucking cool, actually.
Not
Like,
action. It's
not funny.
no, it won't be like that. And
I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say. Like
the arm movement. in that
like
I
the
see
Mummy.
that shit.
The Mummy was comedic action. It was. No,
The Mummy
again,
was dumb.
no, I like the first
I
Mummy.
hate that movie.
The Mummy Returns has its problems, and the third one is a piece of shit.
I didn't see the third one.
Well, good, don't.
I have self-respect.
I was thinking about this director, and can you imagine a mummy, like, looking like Mama? Like, that would be fucking creepy. I was like, you know what? I could go for this. I think it would be really cool to get this director on board. So I'm actually looking forward to this now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a horror mummy again. It's been a long
a true
time.
full
Yeah.
horror mummy, that would be pretty fucking cool. I would like to see that.
Yeah.
If he does it right, that
Yeah.
could be awesome.
And they actually have like a screenwriter. They haven't really gotten a cast together or anything, but the screenwriter is John. God, these names. John Plathith. That's literally how you spell it. John Plathith.
maybe we should call Ben so that
Spaihts. Plath? I don't
you
know.
lost
Whatever.
me.
Well, he was a joint writer on Prometheus. Did you see Prometheus, Paul?
I don't like Prometheus.
You don't? Okay. Well, he's going to be the screenwriter for this. I didn't hate Prometheus. I kind of liked it. But again, it had like 20 writers. So
I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
It had as many writers as a Beyonce song. What?
Nice. But one last piece of news, and this isn't actually news, but it's a story I wanted to share because I think it's just interesting. It cracked me up. So I don't know if you know this, Paul, but due to a very unfortunate circumstance, it was about 2 minutes away from happening. Wolverine was almost in the first Spider-Man film.
What?
Yeah.
In The Amazing Spider-Man?
No. In Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
But no, check this out. So this was in an interview recently with Huffington Post with Hugh Jackman, and he said that he almost had a cameo in Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man, but a strange issue prevented it. And here's the quote that he had from the Huffington Post.
A strange issue?
A strange issue. Yeah, here it is. This is the quote. In the first Spider-Man, we really tried to get me going on to do something, whether it was just a gag or a walkthrough through a shot or something or interacting with Maguire. We didn't know what. The problem was we couldn't find my suit. The suit was stuck in something, so when we were in New York and I was there, we couldn't get it together. So, I actually had some high-level people about it, because the optimist in me goes, why not? Why can't we do this, a split cast or whatever? So he's actually talking about, hey, why don't we bring in some X-Men into this film?
Well, he's been talking about that for a while.
Yeah, but this gets a little funny. He says...
Because he says he wants to be an Avenger.
Yeah, he does. And he said, but then someone reminded me about the money that Fox paid compared to the amount of money Disney paid, and it's very different. So you know how they split up the pie? God knows. But in the comic books, what's great is that they're just mashing together all the time, and I think that's awesome. And people are like, yeah, let's just get on this one. I think one day it may eventually be happening.
Well, does Fox pay more or less?
I think Fox would pay less.
Yeah,
Disney has got such a bloated budget.
Yeah, I mean, with all the Robert Downey Jr. stuff that went on for Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Where he was like, I'm not coming in until you pay them more.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something to do, but yeah, he keeps boasting about how he wants to be an Avenger. Did you see the thing that said that they were about half a second away? They were pushing to get Wolverine's suit in Days of Future Past. They had it constructed.
Huh. Really?
Yeah, you can find images online of the mask.
Huh.
And it's like it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it's not on him. It's just like in a case.
There, yeah.
But it's got like the yellow face part, like cheek part, and then like the black.
Yeah.
And then it's got like the black and yellow gloves, and I'm like, that would have been cool if they did it right. That would have been cool.
My whole thought is, there's nothing stopping the studios from doing this. I mean, there's been crossover between studios before. It's not impossible. And if they were to ever do it, these studios would make fucking gangbuster money. Like, it would make so much money to bring in even a few X-Men into an Avengers film, or bring Spider-Man into an Avengers film, or vice versa,
I'm still curious as to how they're going to do this whole X-Men Avengers thing right now, because I don't think that they've cast Quicksilver. They cast the Scarlet Witch for Avengers.
Yes.
And they cast Quicksilver for Days of Future Past.
Yes.
They're not allowed to mention the other movies.
Yeah.
In X-Men, they're not allowed to mention the Avengers, and in the Avengers, they're not allowed to mention anything.
Yeah.
Mutants, X-Men, Magneto, nothing.
Yeah. Which is so incredibly odd. Scarlet Witch is a mutant. So how are they not going to mention that she's a fucking mutant? How is that impossible? I don't understand.
I mean, there are ways to do it without ever saying... I think they're just not allowed to say the word.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get these powers? She was born that way. What? Some people are. Okay. And then we just kind of have to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
I guess. I don't know. But was it only in the Ultimates that Wasp was a mutant?
Yes.
Okay. She wasn't in any other... Okay.
In the mainstream timeline, Pym developed the particles and then used them on her.
Okay.
And in the Ultimate timeline, she's a mutant and he derived the serum from her.
Okay. Right. So, I thought that was funny. That was a recent story that Hugh Jackman put out there, and that would have been so cool just to see Wolverine just, walk through a scene or two,
Like I said, in the second Spider-Man, when Mary Jane leaves her wedding, she runs past Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
In uniform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he, watches her run.
Yeah.
Like a creeper?
He's just like, yo, why is this bitch running in a wedding dress? What's up? I'm gonna punish you with my hammer. My penis is the hammer.
So,
Fillion comes in and kicks him in the jaw.
If there's no other news, we're going to get right into our trailers. And the first one is The Escape Plan.
Ray Breslin is able to break out of any prison designed by man.
We're testing a prototype facility to deal with people no government wants on their books. The people financing this need to know these facilities are escape-proof.
Contact on site?
The warden's name is Roger Marsh.
When do we start?
We just did.
Welcome to your new home.
Now,
Oh god. Sorry.
I like Kim's reaction to it. Now, when Kim and I saw this trailer for the first time, my reaction at first was the same as hers, which was, hey, this movie is 20 years too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this had come out 20 years ago when these actors were at their peak, I would have loved it. Like, back right after, like, T2 or after, you know, like...
Arnie is pushing it, dude.
He is. He really is.
Fucking working. He's like, I was the governor, and my wife said she was going to leave me if I don't get a paycheck.
Yeah. But when I look at these guys... I mean, we always wanted to see the Stallone-Schwarzenegger crossover. We always want to see that, them in a film together. Now it's happening, and I don't want to see it.
Is what, the second time? Third time?
It's the second time. They're both in Expendables and Expendables 2.
Okay.
But again, Arnie just had a cameo in both. He had a little bit of a bigger role in Expendables 2, but not by much. So this is the first film where they're both really co-starring together. But again, I don't want to see this. They're decrepit now. And I know I'm going to get some flack for saying that, but I don't want to see these guys anymore.
I've never liked Stallone, ever.
Really?
Ever.
I like young Stallone. Very young Stallone. I
I've
like
never liked any Stallone.
But
like, people like to quote Rocky, and I'm like, shut up. I hate Stallone so much. Or Rambo, like, ugh.
But you like Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger's cool.
Okay. But again...
Young Schwarzenegger. I'm talking like Conan of Terminators 1 and 2.
No, but again, I like the premise of this film. I think it's solid, you know?
Yeah, I just think it should be like the Prison Break movie.
Yeah. And again, I like Prison Break films. I think they're great.
No, I'm talking about the Prison Break show.
Right.
It should be like the Prison Break.
The
movie.
Oh, I gotcha.
But like, the premise behind it looks cool. I just don't care about the actors.
No.
So I'll see it like if I'm made to see it. But other than that.
And then out of nowhere, we see 50 Cent. I'm like, really? Are you still relevant?
He's actually not a terrible actor. Like, when he's acting and he's not being a complete tool, like, he's actually not terrible.
Well, what has he been in besides that film that was not supposed to be an autobiography of his life?
There was an autobiography of his life?
Well, it was a film that... It was like 8 Mile. It was a film that wasn't supposed to be about him, but it was really about him.
Oh.
Like, Eminem said, oh, 8 Mile isn't about me. Dude, it's about you. Come on.
I never saw 8 Mile, but I want to.
50 Cent had a film like that. It may have been Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh.
I think that's what it was called.
That sounds right.
And
or was that...
It was a CD.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that the name of his CD?
It may have been, but I'm pretty sure that was the name of the film, too. I could be wrong, but he was in a film like that where he was the main character, and supposedly it was paralleling his own life.
Okay.
But, again, I haven't seen him I haven't seen him anything besides that.
9 times.
9 times! 9 times!
I shot 9 times. How many times? What? How many
What?
times you get shot? What?
9 times!
9 times. 50 Cent, 9 times. 50 Cent times 9.
Oh my God.
Anyway. I don't think I'm going to see this. Now, I'm just... I have no interest in seeing it. I mean, again, despite the decent premise, I just don't care. I don't care about these guys anymore.
Yeah.
One of the things about these guys back in the day was that you didn't just like to watch them, but you kind of wanted to be them, you know? You wanted to be them in these scenarios, and you enjoyed watching them. I don't want to be one of these two guys who's over the hill and falling apart. I don't like seeing that. I don't want to become these guys, you know?
Yeah.
I can't buy into it. I'm sorry.
I know what you mean.
Tony Stark.
Anyway, moving on, the next film we have is Divergent.
You are different. If you don't fit into a category, they can't control you. They call it Divergent. You can't let them find out about you.
And what if they already know?
Then you're already dead.
Now, the reason I included this
It's a
one...
book, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's based off a series.
It looks like Hunger Games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is something on the last podcast that Kim had actually raged about. Remember Kim's little rage moment? Where she was talking about how get out of the whole supernatural tween genre and try and get into more of other stuff. Well,
And
this
she
is
was
an example.
over Hunger Games. And actually, that's the first thing I saw when I saw this. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Now Kim's started a monster. Damn it.
I'm sorry.
But it does. It's like, how do I... They're going to put me into a camp. And they're like, which one? I'm like, oh, you have to be divergent. What?
Yeah.
When your vagina is divergent.
Wow.
It's a big deal.
I'm not really sure what that...
And then they're like, you're this. And they're like, don't classify me.
Yeah. Don't try to define me. It's like, oh my God. So anyway, what the basis
sorry,
of this
10-year-old
film
girl.
is that I looked at it and I saw Hunger Games combined with something like Harry Potter, where you have the different schools. You know?
It looked interesting, though. The trailer did it justice. I thought it looked...
You know,
I thought the trailer was well done, at very least.
the Hunger Games became successful, again, because it wasn't a run-of-the-mill young adult genre. This is now banking off of that. They're saying, okay, Hunger Games did great. Now we got to spoof Hunger Games.
Right.
And I know there was a book, but I don't know when the book was written, if it was before or after Hunger Games. But
It's like 3 books, isn't there?
yeah, it's a series.
Probably.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 books, kind of.
Yeah. And I
That's
look
like
at the...
all they make movies off of now are like trilogies of books.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
You can't,
I
you can't
mean-
just make it off of one book.
I don't necessarily think that that's a bad ploy. It definitely pushes literacy.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does.
It
It
makes
does.
it makes the young adults in our generation, in our culture, read more. And I mean, we get mad at what they're reading, but we need to at least hold to the fact that
That they
Stephanie
are
Meyer
reading.
and
Yes.
J.K.
Yeah,
Rowling,
they're reading
they
books.
have pulled literacy out of the garbage.
And I've said the same thing to all those parents who rage, or the Christian parents who rage at their kids reading Harry Potter. Oh, if it was 200 years ago, he would have been burnt at the stake. Well, fuck you. Your kids are reading.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Well, what is... I mean,
Stop reading Harry Potter and go play Modern Warfare.
Exactly.
Right?
No witchcraft. Go kill some
Kill,
bitches.
kill all these people instead.
That guy's on my side. Shoot him in the head. Dad, that's not very Christian.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know if you ever saw the film...
Double tap, motherfucker.
It was like the film Jesus Camp. Did you ever see Jesus Camp?
No.
You can decide for yourself whether or not I painted the actual camp in a good or a bad light, but there was a scene in there, I'm pretty sure it was Jesus Camp, where this kid was talking to another kid about the most recent Harry Potter book. They're having a very civil, casual conversation. The kids are talking about it. This counselor comes up and says, you do realize that if you were like Harry Potter, we would stone you to death right now. Bitch, what the hell is your problem? It's a book!
That's murder.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Pretty sure that's illegal still.
That's generally frowned
Whether
upon.
you're in the
God,
camp or
I'm
not.
stuck. It's entertainment. Calm your tits, for God's sake.
And I like the Harry Potter stuff. I thought that Harry Potter did a really good job. I mean, I like the books more than I like the movies.
Yeah.
But I thought that Harry Potter did a really good job. It really... Harry Potter was really... It really did do a great job of breaking that barrier and having kids jump back into reading.
It did.
Yeah.
And, and that's something to be praised for.
Like, I was a big fan of Animorphs. And I feel like if Animorphs was around now, it would be doing a lot better. Because it was around a time where we were really struggling with literacy. And I mean, it's not to say that we still aren't now, but it should be commended that it's getting kids to read.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, even if it's like 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh,
I don't think kids should be reading that.
No, kids should not be reading that.
Start
By the
young.
way, did you hear about the rage about the casting for that?
I didn't hear any rage
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, there was all this online rage. Basically, the same reaction that Ben Affleck got about the casting for
I haven't heard any
50
rage.
Shades of
I've
Grey.
heard fucking wet dreams about it. It's
Really?
the fucking dude from Sons of Anarchy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard like so many chicks are like so thrilled because they're gonna see like.
All
him
I've
naked
heard
and
is
shit.
that people hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
The girl who's been cast for, I forget the girl's name, Anastasia or something like that. Apparently, they hate this girl. They're like, you couldn't have cast it more inappropriately than this girl. I'm like, what the hell do you care? Your book is trash. You know?
Have you read it? You don't know
No,
it's trash.
I don't have to.
Did you read it?
No, I haven't yet. But I'm
They
just
sitting here
saying.
defending it. You don't know. You haven't read it, have you? What? No.
That's besides the point. I'm not the one who's putting it down and calling it trash.
But now, wait a minute.
Although I don't disagree.
Not
with Kim.
just last week. Paul said that Ben Affleck was trash and he hadn't seen The Town or Argo.
Ben Affleck is trash. I've seen him on two other.
Okay, you see my point.
Yeah, but Mike, I'm right.
Nice. But moving on, and I'm sure we're all going to have some very choice words for this. We have Robocop.
He's suffered fourth-degree burns over 80% of his body. If he survives, he'll be paralyzed from the waist down, confined to a wheelchair.
You say you can save him, but what does that mean? What kind of life will he have?
What kind of suit is this? It's not a suit. It's you.
What the hell did you do to me?
Oh, I love it! I'm so excited!
You're excited for Robocop.
I'm so excited! It was so cool. He like walks out and he's all badass, and they're like, does it come in black? He's like, yeah! and he's like, dead or alive, you're coming with me. And I'm like, oh, cream all over my desk.
Oh my god.
Somebody give me the lemon pledge.
Wow.
I did not have the same reaction to this trailer.
Neither did I. But
So
I'll say a couple of things. One, I like the casting.
You don't gotta cry about it, Paul. It'll be okay.
There's legitimately something in my eye. I can't figure out what it is.
I will say this. First off,
Eyelash or a football or something.
yeah, I do really like the
Never
casting
mind.
in this. You got Keaton, Gary Oldman.
Oh yeah, Oldman. That was the other.
Yeah,
actor
he was
I
the scientist doctor type. Yeah.
he's one of my favorite fucking
Now Samuel Jackson, meh, whatever.
Samuel J, yeah, he's fucking
And the guy
in everything.
playing Murphy,
God.
don't really know him. The only thing I've seen him in was a film called Darkest Hour, and it was a piece of shit.
Oh man, was that movie with that guy from that other movie and people are blowing
They
up?
did that stuff.
Yeah.
No, dude, you know, the guy is in the fucking Emil, fucking what's his fuck from that car movie.
I know.
Speed
I'm sorry.
Racer.
I just want to say, yeah. I just like the phrase "What's his fuck." You know, what's his fuck?
He did that one thing.
But no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the
they
main
were
guy.
both in it, and
First time I hung out
it
with
was
Steve,
in
he was
Russia.
like, do you want to watch it? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, it really sucked. And I was like, no.
It was awful. It was in Russia, and these kids were vacationing there, and all of a sudden aliens invade, and people like disintegrate in front of them. You know.
Oh, that movie.
Yeah.
It was awful,
Yeah,
awful. It was one of the last films I saw while I was at the theater. I was like, oh my god, this is garbage. He was in it, and he was forgettable. But he's also been in AMC's The Killing, and supposedly he's good in that. So I'm not against his casting. He looks the part, but
I think that it looks fantastic.
But what? Crap, I can't remember. What did I say to you when we watched the trailer for it?
Don't thrust so hard.
No, that wasn't right after we watched it. That was later.
Is it in yet?
were you? Wow.
What are you
Were
doing?
you-
Don't touch me there.
Were you? Were you bringing up the fact that he's not like a robot now? He's more man than robot. Was that it?
No, I think that's what you were saying.
I was saying a bit of that.
I like that.
It was like, to be honest and fair, I have not seen the original RoboCop.
You haven't seen the original RoboCop.
I have not.
Then you don't
But-
get a say in this one.
But it looked
Red
to
Foreman
me,
was the villain in the first RoboCop movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
that I know.
It's really
But,
exciting. It'd be really even more exciting if he was in this one, and he was like, "I'm gonna put my foot in your ass." Yes, smart ass robot.
Or was it that they were trying to like humanize him too much?
No, if I could.
What
talk.
were you trying to get then?
I was saying that it looked like the first one was more about he's now this super ultra robotic cop that is going around and just shooting and all
Yes.
this other stuff. And this one is trying to bring into it this whole other aspect of this company and their side project and what they're trying to do
Well, no, the
with
first
the technology.
movie was the introduction of robotics in the military. Is what they
was
were
it
trying to do.
OSP?
I don't remember what it was.
OCP, something like that. Yeah, I forgot what
No,
that was.
ODB?
No, ODB, yeah, you know me. No, which is where they get that
OPP.
like fucking. That's where they get that big mech thing.
Yes.
He ended up being like the boss or
Yeah.
whatever of the movie.
But it wasn't all about. It seems from the preview for this new one that it's mainly about this company that makes these robotics and how their secretive plot to control things. Like, I forget exactly what.
Well, here's the thing.
was.
In this, you notice that most of the things he's fighting are not people. They are robots. And if that's indicative of what's going to happen in this, it's going to be like the only violence he really has is against robots, not people. Because, again, this is a PG-13 film.
I only saw one robot, and that was the mech.
No, not the big mech. In one part, you see these other things that kind of look like Robocop, but they're not. They're just full robots. And he's just going around, he's like twisting their necks around, he's shooting them, breaking them in half. They're all robots, and it's violent, but it's robots. They can't show blood. Well, they can only show a certain amount of blood because it's a PG-13 film. And this is something that I wanted to touch on. And I kind of agree with Kim. It looks like they're going more down the road of not the gangs, of him trying to get revenge against the gang that kind of blew him apart. This is more about him going up against the corporation. Now, that was in the first RoboCop, but that was more of a side story at the very end. For the most part, it was just him trying to get revenge against the gang that blew him apart. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give a bit of an example. Let's say that 20 years from now, someone tries to remake Kick-Ass.
Okay.
And they remake it, and it's PG. How would you react to that?
It's a little extreme.
But this is the point I raised when I first saw this Robocop trailer. When the first Robocop came out, it was rated X. I thought it was rated R. That's not true. It was rated X when it first came out. Not for sex. It was the first film that was really rated X because of violence. Because of how brutally, destructive and graphic it was when it's violence. Well, they toned down a little bit of it, cut out a couple scenes here and there and made it rated R. And it's still entirely gruesome. But that is what made it enjoyable. It was the first film that said, we're going to just push the envelope on this.
It was
and
Swedish.
What?
It was Swedish.
It was Swedish.
It was a Swedish horror movie.
Swedes?
What was the horror genre we were making? Was it Italian?
Oh, Italian. Yeah, we were making fun of Italians. Sorry.
Wait, hold on.
I get
Nobody got that reference. Maybe I said that wrong.
We're making fun of everyone today. We're making fun of the Japanese, the Swedes, the Italians. Fuck
I
everybody.
came like half a second away from saying some really bad shit about black people. That was just
Oh my god.
But anyway,
terrible.
my thoughts on this is to take something that was really known for its camp value and how brutally gruesome and violent it was and turn it into something PG-13 pretty much betrays that original material. I'm not saying this had to be rated R, but what I'm saying is to take something that was initially there just because it was brutal and turn it into something that's about him tearing apart robots. That's not Robocop. That's the Phantom Menace.
I mean, and again, I disagree because although the rating and the violence was there, the story wasn't about the violence. I'm always about the story. I mean, the story was about the tech.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm excited for it. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to go see it. I'll be really excited. And it's not Michael Bay. So
True. Very true.
We run the risk that it might actually be good.
Now, I will say, I like some of the things to do with it. I don't hate the new design of Robocop. I don't think it looks that bad. I know there was a lot of rage online about it. I'm like, I don't think it looks that bad.
The original design looks exactly like the old design, and then they spray paint him.
Yeah, exactly. Now, no, there's a little bit of changes. There's like some different designs on the front of him, and then the legs look different, but they show the old design in there. And it's the old classic design. And I have a feeling they're going to say something, like, oh, that looks too 80s, or something like that. They'll make some sort of joke about it. Throw some black in there. And that'll be funny.
And they do say that. Like, he walks out in the silver design.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, and make him look more tactical is what Keaton says.
And then they're like, oh, wow, it works. And they're like, all right, well, make him look tactical. Do it in black.
Yeah.
And then he steps out of the car all badass. And like, oh, man.
And again, I don't hate that look. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't like the idea that he has his memories. I don't like that at all.
I do like that.
I don't. The thought was that the first RoboCop has a little inkling of what his past life was, but he really can't recall. And he's just a human in a suit.
What I really like about it is that it really seems like what they're going to do, because they make the mention that he has no self-control, but that he has the illusion of self-control. So the machine and the people behind the machine are controlling it, but it's the illusion of free will. So he thinks that, or he's under the impression that he's deciding to do whatever it is that he's doing, but he's not. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like Inception. It brings to the field that if they're trying to get other people to go through this process, then if you have somebody in the suit, have somebody who's gone through the process that thinks that they're enjoying it, that thinks that it's making them better, then more people will do it. And then he overrides the programming.
Okay. Fair enough. Again, I'm not saying I'm not going to see this. I'll probably see it. And I will say one thing before we move on. I do not like that they are releasing this in February. I don't know if you saw that. It's being released February 7th, which you mean I think it's significant. But there has never, ever been a financially successful film released in January or February. The closest we've gotten the last decade was Book of Eli. That was a January release. Yeah, Book of Eli was and January and February is pretty much like a death sentence for any film. And because during that time, all you really get is chick flicks and an occasional horror film to balance it out. No film is successful at that time of year, which tells me one of two things. They're either trying to branch out and bring action films into this part of the year, or they don't have and you have faith in their product. I don't think they believe in this product at all. And by releasing it in February, that tells me that they say, oh, we don't think this is going to be that good. I could be wrong, but to release it at that time of the year spells death. If it was released in March, that's okay, because you can get the spring break crowd, you can get in, there's been a few action films released around that time, like 300. 300 had a March release. It did great. You can release it in March or a little bit later. But January or February, that's awful. That is a death sentence for your film. Sorry, mull over that.
No, I mean, from a financial standpoint, that's a good point to make.
I remember most recently, this past February, there was a Good Day to Die Hard. That was released in February, and it tanked. It did awful.
Because it was awful.
Well, it was awful, but also, but it was a Die Hard film. You'd think it would have done really well, even if it was a piece of shit. Just the name Die Hard, you would think would have brought in some people. No, it was a February release. No one went to see it. I don't know. I don't like that they're releasing it at that time, but we'll see what happens. We'll probably see it, but I have my doubts. I have a lot of doubts. Moving on from that, we have another remake, which is Carrie.
Fuck that.
Prom is next week. You don't have a date already. Maybe you want to go with me.
Mama, I've been asked to prom.
No. They're gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you.
Mama, stop it.
If the two of you are planning some kind of joke on a poor, lonely girl...
Your king and queen are...
Now, I know you raged about this a while back. Paul, let's let you get out what you want to say about Carrie.
This looks terrible. First off, they've remade this movie twice.
Yes, they have.
They made a sequel.
Yep.
Which is actually not terrible. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible.
You said that you watched it, but you kind of just hated it too.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things that I hate that I like.
Yeah.
Because when it comes on, I'm like, I hate this movie. Grab me some popcorn. Throw some Obey on that bitch. I'm going to be here for a while. This looks so terrible. First off, it looks bad. You can tell that they're fucking banking on the actors more than the story.
I agree with that.
I love this book. It's legitimately one of my favorite books.
It is. I love the book.
And I like that he agreed that this is one of my favorite books. This is one of my favorite books. It is. You're right. You're right. It is.
No.
I know all of your favorite books.
It's one of my favorite books.
I love this book. Like, the writing style for this book, it took me about half the book to get used to the writing style. Because there's like 5 stories in it, all telling the same story. And it's so cool. So, like, when you watch the first Carrie, they kill her mom wrong. And then they do something weird. And then second time they do it, they do something else weird, but then they do something right.
Yeah.
And then this one, throughout her life, she had demonstrated her abilities. One of my favorite parts in the book is that her parents were fighting, and she flipped out, and she pushed their kitchen table through their dining room wall out of their house. Mm-hmm. Their dining room was like 5 feet off the house, like or off the ground.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like her neighbor testimonials said that the table was hanging out of their house. And I'm like, that's the coolest like visual in my head, that like when she would get mad, she would cause hailstorms, which isn't telekinesis. It's like reality manipulation, but not the point. But this, like, there's a scene in the trailer where she's sitting cross-legged on her bed and she lifts her bed off the ground.
And levitates a bunch of books too, yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't the Xavier School for Gifted Children.
No, it's not.
Put that bed down right the fuck now. She never practiced.
No.
She never tampered with it.
Well, in the first film, she did. I mean, she would
fuck, we're not talking about films. We're talking about the book.
Okay.
She didn't practice shit. Because her mother was super Christian and way religious. They prayed multiple times a day. If you swore, she beat you. If you wore a red dress, you had to pray for it. She made her daughter think that having her period meant that she was a sinner.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it almost looks like by the end of the movie, she's going to don a superhero outfit, whether it be fucking Jean Grey or Hit Girl or the combination of the two. Yeah. And she's going to be hurling butterfly knives hopped up on cocaine. What?
Her superhero personality is going to be called the Prom Queen.
She's gonna fucking go Phoenix Force on the town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not Carrie. It looks like she's wearing a wig that doesn't quite fit right.
Yeah, I agree with that. That looked kind of odd.
What is this? I saw the trailer for this, and my reaction then is just as strong as my reaction now. No.
And one of the things that one of the reasons I think the first film worked was that the actress playing Carrie looked like she would have been an outcast.
Yo, she was ugly as shit.
She was.
Or at least they did her up.
But no, when she gets to the prom, she looks pretty.
Yeah, she's
but
right.
but they dressed her up to be pretty. You know, she looked nice.
She looks good in red.
But up until that point, she looked like the girl you wouldn't want to be around in school.
Right.
And the actress Chloe, she doesn't look abnormal. She just looks like another kid. Like, oh, she's always like holding her arms in her chest and is standing awkwardly. That's not awkward, you know.
I don't really think that this story works anymore, personally. And now, I don't know everywhere else in the world, but I keep saying, in my high school, we didn't have cliques.
Well, ours didn't either.
I mean, we had people that, nobody liked because they were weird. But, I mean, it wasn't like...
But they found their own friends, and they were all weird together, right?
Right. They had, like, the weird group.
Right.
And you were like...
That was me in my school.
Oh.
No, I'm joking.
And I mean, yeah, now I hang out with the weird kids. But I'm like... But there isn't... I mean, I don't know. There were a couple of girls in my school that we were like, don't talk to them because they're weird. But I don't necessarily know that any of them... I mean, luckily, I guess none of them had overly Christian mothers and were telekinetic.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily know that this story applies. But then again, you hear all about the suicides for bullying and stuff. So maybe it does. Maybe they could have done this differently. And if they were really going to bring it into the modern age, they could have done, like, bully. Or, like, that text bully that they did with Miley Cyrus. And then have her go all, like, ape shit. And be, like, a technopath. That'd have been fucking cool as shit.
That would have been pretty interesting.
All their fucking cell phones fucking start eating their brains. My iPhone gets a face, and it's like, fuck you.
It's a new twist on Paul's fear of Skynet taking over.
Is. Horrific.
He opens up, Siri, I'm going to kill you, Paul. What?
Fuck you. No, you're not. Crunch. Fuck you, bitch. Crunch. Out. Crunch. Never. Crunch. Die. Someone's walking by on a phone call. Still here, motherfucker. Ah!
Starts singing like HAL 9000 from 2001.
No, fucking start singing that song from Stranger. To say it's only just begun.
Oh, yeah. Now, to this film's credit, I like Julianne Moore cast as the mother. I think that's actually really good casting.
Julianne Moore's a good actress.
She is. She really is. Chloe being cast as Carrie, that's just... She's one of the it girls in Hollywood right now. That would be like casting Jennifer Lawrence as Carrie. She's just popular right now.
Yeah.
I will say this. They could have done worse.
They could have gotten Kristen Stewart.
I was just about to say that. If they got Kristen Stewart, I'd be like, I want this bitch to die.
Yeah.
You know?
Can I just pay
Do whatever you want to her at the prom. Fuck her.
Can I come in at the very end of this movie? I just want to see the end. You just show me the end so I can watch her die. Thanks.
Moving on, we got two more films.
Actually, no. That's how they fucked up the second one. Carrie doesn't die.
I didn't see that one.
In the second remake, Carrie doesn't die.
Huh. Interesting.
In the first one, she dies. In the book, she dies. In the remake, the first remake, the second version, she doesn't die. The black chick, who was like the girl whose boyfriend she took to prom, takes her out of town.
I remember seeing this, but I don't recall. It's been so long since I've seen that version, but I have to go back and watch it.
I really liked it because they kill her mother right, and I got really excited over that because I was like, oh yeah, you're being true to the literature. Which in this is one of those cases where I like you to be true to literature. Like in comic books, you can take your certain amount of liberties with, especially comic books that were created in the 80s. But this kind of thing, if you're going to tell the story and call it that, you should try to stay true to it.
Yeah.
And so they killed her mother right, and I was really excited. And then she lives.
But we have two more films to get through, and one of them, which Kim will not see, I can pretty much guarantee it, is Gravity.
Explorer's been hit. Explorer, do you read? Explorer, over. Explorer. Astronaut is off structure. Dr. Stone is off structure. Dr. Stone detached. You must detach. If you don't detach, that arm's going to carry you too far. Listen to my voice. You need to focus. I'm losing visual of you. In a few seconds, I won't be able to track you. You need to detach. I can't see you anymore. Do it now. Let's fight.
Kim does not want to see this.
It doesn't look like it should be a full-length movie.
You think it should be just like a short film?
Yeah,
I guess, yeah. I mean, like, okay, you're in space and you're untethered and now there's nowhere for you to go. I don't see how they can make that last
A
for at
feature-length
least
film.
90 minutes.
Interesting. From what I can tell in the trailer, it looks like they get separated from the Explorer, from the space shuttle. She drifts and then somehow comes into contact with the International Space Station. They just happen to find her. But then the space station gets torn apart. So it's like she's just fucked no matter where she goes. At which point, like a Soyuz, which is a Russian capsule, comes up and tries to save her. But it's like basically everything just keeps getting fucked every time she gets near something.
I was talking to Steve about this, and I was telling him, I was like, I really don't like Sandra Bullock as an actress anymore.
Really?
And it's not that she's a bad actress. It's not that at all. It's that when I see a movie, I want to see the character you're playing, and I can't see past her anymore.
Okay.
Like she is just, her face is just so distinctive to me, and it's not. There's nothing.
Are there any other actors or actresses you're like that with?
I don't think that there are.
What about like Harrison Ford? Because I can be like that with him.
No, like I can still see the character he's doing.
Okay.
But like, if I were to, and I haven't seen it, but that movie where she was with the woman from Bridesmaids, or
the Heat.
Thing.
Yeah. Or when she was in the movie with the football player,
Blindside,
and I'm like, okay, it's Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
It's Sandra Bullock. It's Sandra Bullock. Like I can't help but just see her. So, and I said that to Steve. I was like, I feel like this movie is two big name actors, one of them that can act, and Sandra Bullock, who isn't a bad actress. It's just I can't see past her anymore.
Okay.
And she doesn't really do that much anymore. So when she shows up, it's not like she's making an impact. She's just there.
Okay.
She doesn't do. I mean, this is the first strong role. Although no, The Blind Side was a strong role, but like she does a lot of goofy roles in between.
Yeah. She's always been that way. I mean, she had The Blind Side, and before that, she had done All About Steve. You know, it's like, and that's something that I forget if it was before or after Blindside, but it's always the Oscar backlash, you know, where Halle Berry had won, then she went and made Catwoman, you know, and then Sandra Bullock won, but she'd also, in the same year, won a Razzie for All About Steve. You know, it's like, it's odd that this keeps happening to actors. And I think James, it was with James. What?
What's a Razzie?
A Razzie? That's the Golden Raspberries. That's like the worst of the year. It used to be a couple weeks before the Oscars. Now I think it's the week after the Oscars.
Okay.
And it's the worst films of the year. You'll be happy to know that a couple years ago, basically the one that swept it was Last Airbender.
Oh yeah.
Last year, I forget if it was last year or 2 years ago, every single film was won by Happy Madison Studios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
All 13 categories. It was either Just Go With It, Bucky Larson, or Jack and Jill. All three of those films won every single category. And all of them were Happy Madison films, and every single one was a piece of shit. So, good job, Adam Sandler.
He hasn't been doing good for himself recently.
No, he has not. But anyway, I actually want to see this because it's the first film that I've seen in a long time that has to deal with what actually occurs in space, the physics of space. Because you see films like Alien and Star Trek and Star Wars, and it's all pseudo-science.
No,
you know?
that's what happens.
We like to think that.
Yeah,
but
there's always this big green dude who smiles a lot.
Yeah.
Like, Kit, you're enjoying this too much. Stop it.
But they don't really deal with how it occurs on our planet, you know? I mean, Star Trek does, but I mean, it's 200 years in the future, we have shields. It's not really that big of a deal. You can still get sucked out into space, but the odds of that happening are rare. Here, it's like, okay, people don't realize how vulnerable you are in that state, and this is the first film to really deal with that. And I like that. Maybe Apollo 13 touched on that a little bit.
A little bit. Weren't they dying?
I was going to say that was like the whole movie.
But they weren't actually, they were in a capsule. They were safe, and they didn't have to wear their suits the whole time. They had air. They had a limited supply, but they weren't dying immediately. They weren't flung out. They weren't flung out in the blackness of space. You know, that was
racist. The African American of space. Like,
wow,
God,
really?
Damn.
Wow.
Your president's black.
Oh,
show some respect.
Anyway. I want to see this. I'm really intrigued by this. Again, Sandra Bullock, man, the only thing I've ever really liked her in was Speed.
God.
I know. And that's
talk about lack of relevance.
I know. So long ago, but that's really the only thing I've ever liked her in. Speed. She was awful in Speed 2, but Speed 2 was a piece of shit, so whatever.
Speed 2 was kind of a piece of shit. Wasn't Willem Dafoe the villain in that one?
I think he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe's the man.
And when you can't get Keanu Reeves to come back for your film, you know you've got a piece of shit. Anyway, the final film on our list is one that I looked up and it looked a little silly, but I kind of wanted to bring it up, was Last Days on Mars.
Mission Control. This is Chief Systems Officer Vincent Campbell speaking.
10 things about Mars you won't miss when you're back on Earth.
Only 10? Tomorrow is our last day. But I don't know if we're gonna make it home.
It looked silly?
It's the last place you can put zombies. They basically said, okay, let's put zombies on Mars.
You got zombies out of it?
I was like, fuck, what
it looks like zombies.
It's monsters of some sort, yeah.
Oh.
No, dude, that thing busted out of her chest. It was more alien than it was zombie.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked more like alien to me than anything with zombies.
Well, I saw one guy who had, like, his face completely, like, melting and rotting away, but he was still alive and, like, thrashing and gnawing.
No, that's just because alien
I think
spits
he was
acid,
just dying.
I
didn't see that exact trailer.
I remember seeing that, but I mean, I just happened to glance that at my phone. It looked like somebody like ate his face.
Okay.
I don't think he was coming back from that.
But I do remember seeing one scene where there's a rover going across Mars, it's like at the very end, and you see this guy without a suit chasing after him, and I'm like, a human couldn't survive out on the surface of Mars. So
they're aliens.
So it's an alien that's inside him.
Okay.
Okay, and I do hear them they said something about bacteria taking over their body or
Yeah.
But I thought it was like turning them undead or something.
I mean, maybe.
I didn't get that at all.
I don't know.
It looked interesting because the few Mars films we've gotten have pretty much all been bad. You had The Red Planet, which was pretty bad.
No, wasn't that the one with Kilmer?
Yeah.
I like Kilmer.
I like Kilmer too, but I did not.
Awesome as shit.
I did not like that movie.
I don't remember anything about that movie.
You didn't like Kilmer. Mission to Mars was good up until the very end.
No, wasn't that the one with Kilmer?
No.
That was
Mission to Mars was Don Cheadle and
Was Gary Sinise in that one?
Yes, he was.
Didn't send black people into space.
That was never mind.
You don't spend.
We
black
are being
people
so awful in this podcast. My
into
God.
the African Americanness of space.
My God.
They could get lost in the Malcolm X way.
I feel like I have to have
my
20
God.
disclaimers at the start of this podcast.
I apologize for Paul in his sober state. Next time we'll get him drunk.
The views and opinions that Paul has expressed are not those of the other two contributing.
Views expressed by Paul do not directly affect Projectionist Productions.
These are not my opinions. These are not my views. These are just terrible things that I voice. I'm not a racist. I'm just a jerk. That's all. Some of my best friends wear blackface.
Oh my God. But what did you guys think of this trailer? I mean, it was the only one that really we hadn't heard of yet.
It was kind of like a lot happened, but nothing happened. Like you didn't really see anything.
Yeah.
You could tell that a lot was going on, but you couldn't really tell what.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like that.
Okay.
Well, that's my problem with a lot of trailers nowadays. They show too much, especially horror movie trailers.
Yeah.
They show way too much. They show you not all, but a good amount of the scary scenes from the movies in the trailers. So when you go to see the movie, you're like, oh, I saw that.
Which is one reason I like some of the simplistic old horror trailers, like something like The Exorcist or The Shining. The trailer for The Shining still creeps me out. Because even though I've seen the film, it's still a fucking creepy trailer, just with the music. And it's just the elevators opening and the blood pouring out.
Yeah.
That's the trailer. And that's all you need.
Right.
You watch it like, oh my God, what the hell just happened?
Right.
I have to see this. That's what a trailer should do. And The Shining went perfectly. I wish more horror films would do that with their trailers. And not just horror films, any genre, really.
Yeah.
Stop showing us everything in your film. Tease us. That's what a teaser's for. Show us something that we want to get excited for, but not necessarily something in your film.
Yeah.
Pixar did this for a while. Pixar would make trailers and have footage in the trailer that wasn't in the film. Mm-hmm. And that's what I liked.
The trailer for Finding Nemo was just the two fish swimming around talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything about like what it was about either. Like it wasn't like, so we're gonna find you a kid, right? Like, I was like, what the fuck is this movie about these fish?
Yeah, exactly. And I love Pixar's gotten away from that. I wish they would do it more. But I like trailers that do that. And The Incredibles was like that. You see Mr. Incredible just trying to put his suit on in his office. Mm-hmm. And that was the whole trailer. That was not in the film. I will say this. If I ever get into film, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make a trailer that just shows everything in my film. I'll shoot a little bit of extra footage just to put in my trailer, just to get people excited, because I don't want to show everything in my film, you know?
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense.
Right.
So,
but I think the point I was making.
I'm sorry. I cut off Kim really bad.
Who are you?
Yeah, I know. What am I doing here?
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, that this one, like you were saying, it kind of showed yourself, but didn't really. I kind of like that because then you don't like when you actually go to see the movie, you're
surprised.
Yeah, and it leaves more to.
I've been desensitized.
Be desired. Yeah.
I agree with that. You get the sense of what's going on. Okay, they're on Mars. They're trying to leave.
Something bad happens.
Something bad happens.
And people die.
People die.
That's all you really... We're on Mars. Something bad happened. People died. Sarah movie. What the fuck?
Exactly.
What the hell was that? There wasn't even a screen. It was black. Who said that?
I thought my TV was turned off.
Real nice.
What happened to the power? The whole grid went down. What is this? Fuck it, myself. What? World's ending. I'm going to my mom's. This is terrible.
No, you're going to the movie theater to see the movie.
But are there any other bits of news or trailers you guys want to bring up before we close this up?
No, I'm good.
You good,
Yeah.
Kim?
Can't think of anything right now.
Nor can I. But if there's nothing else, I want to thank Paul and Kim again for joining me today. And hopefully we'll be back sooner this time with another podcast. And hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry for all the racist and nationalistic remarks we made. We apologize for that.
And why we mean
and Paul's looking around like, who said this? Not me. Couldn't be. Then who?
It was Ben.
It was Ben. Yeah, it was Ben. He was here the whole time. He's the one who said it.
Ben's doing a really good impression of it.
All right, guys. So have a good night and take care. Oh no! Wait. You gotta say bye, guys. Come on.
Goodbye.
Bye.